Hey there and welcome back. I'm Sherri. I'm a registered dietitian, and today's video is going to look at the link between depression, overeating, and weight gain. May is actually Mental Health Awareness Month, so I'm going to be doing videos all this month about certain topics between the link between nutrition and neuroscience. I am super interested in things like motivation levels, self-sabotage and why we self-sabotage to keep ourselves from reaching a weight loss goal, and why we use food to self-soothe. These are just a few of the topics. So today we're going to focus on depression, overeating, and weight gain. So the CDC says that 43% of all those diagnosed with clinical depression are obese. Why is that the case? Well, first of all, let's start with what is the difference between being sad or feeling down and actual depression? And does what I'm talking about relate to depression or just feeling sad? Well, I gave you the first clue right there. Sadness is a feeling. Depression is not a feeling. It is a general state of being. It doesn't come and go. Generally. So sadness, we may be sad in moments. It's a temporary feeling. So even though we may be really sad for a while, meaning, several months, there are periods of time in there where we laugh, where we smile, where we actually say, oh my gosh, I'm having a good time. I feel good today. With depression, it's not that way. It's a general overall state that usually does not change. People with depression may be able to go to work, they may be able to go out to dinner with friends or to celebrate an anniversary, but there is an underlying current there of extreme sadness, maybe lack of motivation, or maybe even feelings of hopelessness. So I think about that. When you are sad, you probably don't feel hopeless. You feel sad in response to an event. But people with depression sometimes feel completely hopeless. So I hope that kind of gives you the difference. We can still respond to sadness by eating as we can respond to depression. But for the purpose of today's video, we're going to look more at clinical depression and how that affects weight gain. So the way you gain weight is that you consume more calories by eating and drinking than you burn, and over time that results in weight gain. So you can see that someone with depression, one big reason why they may be at risk to gain weight is because they're not exercising. People with depression don't feel like going to the gym. They don't feel like taking a Zumba class. They may not even feel like going for a quick walk outside. So they're not burning a lot of calories moving, and they're not creating a lot of muscle by any kind of strength training or muscle building exercises. So these could be reasons why. The second reason is because, like I said earlier, if you feel hopeless, then you're not focused on, gee, these donuts are probably not a healthy breakfast. If I'm hopeless, I don't really care what I eat. You may not care about hygiene. You may not care about taking care of yourself in any kind of regard, not just nutrition-wise. So these are two big obstacles that put people at risk to gain weight. I'm not moving and exercising and burning calories, and I feel hopeless. So what does it matter if I get diabetes? What does it matter if I gain 100 pounds? Who really cares? On to reason number 3. If prior to your diagnosis of depression, you learn to comfort yourself by eating food, then this can be a habit that can really kick into high gear once the depression gets bad. You've already carved a neural pathway in the brain that says when you feel bad, you eat, fill in the blank, and temporarily you will get a mood boost. You will feel better. This is a bad habit because guess what? It works. I did a whole video on comfort food, and I'm going to put a link to that down in the description as well as up above here. Just click on that and check out if comfort food eating is an issue for you or someone you love. Reason number 4, let's talk about cortisol. Sometimes depression can occur after prolonged periods of increased and intense stress. Well, we know that when the body is under the prolonged intense stress, that cortisol production in the body is increased. So now I have months, years of increased cortisol production. What that can do is inhibit the production of serotonin, which is the feel-good chemical. So if I have less serotonin, I'm not going to have the feel-good chemical, which can contribute to depression. Also, if I have a lot of cortisol circulating in my bloodstream, I'm going to be more efficient at fat storage, and it can cause an increased appetite, so I may even feel hungrier. So cortisol it plays a role here. How would you know if it plays a role for you? Well, there are a few signs that your body is producing too much cortisol. 1 would be fatigue. 2 would be memory issues that are not normal for you, problems remembering. 3 would be chronic pain that maybe you've had checked out and you can't find the source of, you can't find the cause of. Ongoing chronic pain with no known origin. And then the last one would be if when you stand up, your blood pressure drops. That can be a sign of an issue with your cortisol. So if that sounds like you, it's worth going to a doctor, and you can tell your cortisol levels. You can get blood work done. But I recommend that for you if you find that maybe cortisol could be playing an issue here with your weight gain and depression. Let's move on to reason number 5, and the last reason, and that is the side effects from medication. So let's say you're diagnosed with depression and your doctor talks to you about starting a drug, an antidepressant that would help. And you have probably heard rumors about antidepressants make you gain weight. So first of all, this is true for some antidepressants, however, not all. And some antidepressants, they treat different symptoms as well. So what you've got to do is work with your doctor to find the perfect combination would be one of these antidepressants that treats all your symptoms at the same time, doesn't have a side effect of weight gain. That may not be possible for you, but it's worth telling the doctor you're concerned about weight gain and talking about what are the options for antidepressants that don't have that side effect of weight gain. Now remember, in clinical trials, they are looking at the subjects and who gained weight, and there is such a significant number that they have to put it down there. For example, around 25% of people that start an SSRI, which is one category of antidepressants, show weight gain of at least 10 pounds. But they don't really look at why. So researchers just guess. Some guess that it affects your metabolism, and that is the reason for the weight gain. Others hypothesize that, well, you take the antidepressant and then you start feeling better. If you feel better, you eat more. But I think that's only going to be for people who showed a loss of appetite when they were depressed, which is generally not the people that I work with. Some people deal with depression and, they don't eat anything. Their appetite completely goes. Other people go the opposite direction. So the people that overeat are the people that I work with and the people that I help. So these are just some reasons that you can look at with the antidepressants. Know that it is possible to find an antidepressant that doesn't have that side effect of weight gain. It's just something you really, really need to talk to your doctor about. Okay, before we wrap up, I've got to give you 3 tips that if you find that this is you are depressed, clinically depressed, and you've gained weight, you don't want to gain any more, or you're concerned with gaining weight, then these 3 tips are things that you can implement today to start helping. Number 1, I highly recommend you become more mindful of why you are eating. Every time you go to eat or drink, you need to pause and say, am I physically hungry? If not, then why am I eating this? And here's a tip. If you find you want to eat because you just feel down, you just don't care, or if you say, this will make me feel better, and recognize that's only temporarily, here's something else you can do. There was a study that showed if you will engage in 45 minutes of drawing, painting, coloring. I highly recommend the adult coloring books that are popular now, and even photography. That was the 4 things that they looked at. 45 minutes of engaging in these activity levels decrease cortisol levels. So you'll get the same effect from that as you would from eating donuts. So think about that. Why am I eating this? And if it's for comfort, substitute something else in there that feels comforting to you. You won't see the weight gain. All right, on to number 2. Recognize that sugary foods, desserts, pies, cakes, brownies, while they may feel good in the moment and they may feel like a big warm hug, in the long run, they're going to cause weight gain, and it's also going to make you harder to move out of your depression. So if you must, have those things, but try to limit it to 1 serving. So I'm not going to eat donuts until I just get sick or get stuffed or lose my attraction to the donuts. What I'm going to do is eat 1 donut and I'm going to be done with it. And if that works for you, then you can start trying to substitute in some other things like sweet grapes as a substitute for the sugary snacks and desserts. See if that helps. The 3rd tip is not necessarily nutrition, but it is about movement and getting light. So try to move. Even if you feel like, I don't want to get off this couch, just get outside. And if you can get out in the sunlight, that's even better. Or go sit out on your back patio in your backyard where the sun can hit you. 10 minutes a day, studies have shown that will actually do a lot for cortisol levels. So I told you it's kind of all about the cortisol levels, right? Get outside, get some fresh air, and walk or sit out in the sunlight. If you can do movement, you'll be burning calories, which would be great. Maybe this is a time when you put on a tape and start finally learning a little bit more about something like yoga. So even though that doesn't seem like a lot, any kind of movement like that will be a huge benefit. I really hope that was helpful for you guys. If you've enjoyed this video, please click that like button. If you have any comments, I read all of them, so please put them down below. I'll be happy to answer them. And if you want to learn more, check out my website. It's sherriclarkenutrition.com. I actually have 2 online courses and also have a free stress eating toolkit. So check that out on my website. I would be grateful. Till next time, take care.